Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Gwen and this is Home to Inspire DIY and Decor. Today I wanted to share another DIY video for Christmas ideas, and this is my second Christmas DIY video for 2023, and I hope you enjoy these ideas I have for you. These are more of rustic Christmas decor ideas, kind of primitive. So if you enjoy this video, please leave me a thumbs up and a comment. And if you are new and haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. Let's get on with these projects. So for this first DIY, I am using some of these vintage wood blocks. They're the alphabet blocks that I picked up at an antique store. Sometimes you can find those blocks at maybe a thrift store, yard sales, but they also sell the newer versions, which I'm pretty sure you can just rough up, sand down, give it that antique wax to create more vintage looking blocks. So I took one of those Christmas trees from Dollar Tree, and as you can see, I did cut them apart. They had different separations to them, so it was easy to sort of separate them into three pieces, just cutting down those separations. And this essentially will create three separate trees, which is perfect for my three blocks. So as you can see, I did choose the blocks with the letters J-O-Y to spell the word joy. You can choose whatever letters that you want to create a word that you want. This is one of the shorter words that are, Christmas themed, so it's a lot easier to go with this word. So I decided that I was going to just cut this one tree apart. You can, however, choose to buy three, those bottle brush trees that come in a pack and just use those. But I decided to go this route. So here I'm showing you the spray paint, which is caramel brown, along with a bottle of cinnamon. And this is what I use, the technique I use to create that faux rust look. Just ignore that star on the side. That's going to be for a different DIY. But here is a finished look after I created the faux rust on these bells. You saw the before picture. It was just the usual silver colored ones that come in a pack from Dollar Tree. I believe Hobby Lobby does carry the ones that are rusted for you, but I didn't have those on hand, so I just decided to create my own faux rust look. I've seen people do this before, so I was really curious to see how I can do that for myself. So it's really fun. All you do is just spray paint your pieces and then sprinkle the cinnamon to it while the paint is wet. And then you just continue to add more, cinnamon and more spray paint, without letting them completely dry until you kind of create that coated look and the rust starts to form. So it was super fun. I didn't get to record that step, but maybe for a future video, if I decide to do more faux rust DIYs, I will make sure to get that on video. So here I'm just trimming down my trees because this did come from one big tree. So you just want to shape them as needed and sort of trim them down, just creating that angle and the silhouette of a tree. You can make yours as thin or as squatty as you want your trees to look. I decided to go with this shape right here. So essentially I'm using those bells that I rusted as my tree bases, and I thought this was a super cute idea. So all you do is just hot glue those pieces down using the wire that's connected to the tree, and then adding more hot glue to the base of the tree just to secure those down into place. So I did that with all three of the trees, and these were super cute just even on its own. So I was really loving that look. Then I had to go ahead and glue down the bells to the tops of these blocks just using some hot glue. Now, if you wanted more of a permanent hold, you can choose to use like E6000, Gorilla Glue. You can even use hot glue that's meant for more long-term hold, like Gorilla Glue, or I think they have more stronger bonding hot glues out there, but this is just your plain old hot glue stick. So I went ahead and attached my pieces down to the tops of those blocks, and this was super easy and very quick to make. I was deciding if I wanted to glue all my blocks together just to form, that more of a permanent, decor piece, like where they all kind of got stuck together. But I decided, they look cute as separate pieces, and you can style them a lot more easily if you just have them separate. You can stack them in varying heights. So that was it for DIY number one. I think that was super cute and easy. Let me know what you think. Moving right along to the second DIY, I am creating a garland. I'm using some of these snowballs that come in a pack from Dollar Tree, and this is the Crafter Square brand. It does come with quite a bit in that pack. I'm also taking a spool of yarn from the Dollar Tree. And here, what you kind of don't see in this video is I took a needle from my sewing kit, and I chose the one that was on the larger side along with a bigger eye of the needle, just so I can thread the yarn into that eye and then use that needle to sew into each of the snowball. But you'll see that process done later. Let's move on to actually painting these little cute wooden shapes in the shape of these little hot cocoa mugs, coffee mugs, what have you. I did take the color, I believe it's Wild Mushroom, and it's by the Hello Hobby brand from Walmart. And I just gave these little cups a good couple coats. It is bare wood, and it does soak up that paint color very well. So, apply as much paint as you need to get the finish that you want. So I use like a couple coats just to get more of a deeper, richer color. So just make sure that you avoid painting on the top section where it's supposed to look like foam, the foamy part of like your drink or the whipped cream or what have you. Because later on I will be using a different product to, cover that area. So it wasn't necessary to cover the entire piece. So in true fashion, I do like to finish off my projects just painting the back sides as well. I just like my projects to look nice from all angles, unless of course I don't plan on creating, a more permanent fixture, if you will. So here I did mix up some spackling with some chalk paint in the white color, Snow White color by Waverly. I was planning on using caulking. However, I didn't have any white caulking on hand, so I improvised and used some spackling instead and just gave it a good mix with some good old white chalk paint, and it created the same effect that I was looking for. It's basically a thicker, more textured version of paint, of just regular paint, just to create that textured look. Again, just giving it more of that whipped cream effect, if you will. So I used like this plastic knife to just sort of spread it on. And I did take my needle to poke the hole through the back just to make sure that the holes weren't being blocked with that mixture, because I will be using that hole to, string the yarn through it to create this garland. So make sure that you do the same thing if you plan on using that hole that comes with the wood piece. I also took these flocking powder I had on hand, and this is like by Martha Stewart. You can use glitter as well, or any type of faux sprinkles or anything that you have to embellish your piece. But again, this is something I already had and just went through my craft stash, and it had the right colors in it. It had the green and the red and some browns in it. So I went ahead and used the flocking powder. But again, using glitter would have the same effect. So after I sprinkled on the glitter over each of those faux whipped cream, just make sure that you wait for your pieces to dry, or at least semi-dry, before you start stringing your yarn through the holes, just to avoid messing up your spackling mixture. Before we move on to that step, I'm taking some of these cute little fake candy pieces from Hobby Lobby. It's from their craft section, and they're made of like some type of plastic foamy material. They're already designed for you this way. I decided to use these pieces to embellish my mugs, and just hot glued each of those pieces on the front side just adding a little more cuteness to these cups. At first, I was debating if I wanted to add wording or like a word or a phrase or something to each of these cups to create one word, or letters, if you will. But I decided to use these little candy pieces instead. I had them already, so I'm like, why not use them? This would make a cute embellishment. So then moving back to the garland, the actual garland with those pom-pom balls, I am stringing each of those using my needle, and that just makes it a lot more easier to sew those onto the yarn. So after I strung all the pom-poms that I needed, I can't remember how many I actually needed to create this garland, but I used my guide was pretty much to count up how many of those mugs I had, or those little cups I had. And you'll see here in a bit that I sort of laid them out in between each of those foam pieces, the pom-pom balls, just to see how many I needed or if I needed more. Because essentially I wanted the end pieces to be pom-pom balls and not to be the mugs. So if I was lacking, I just added more of the pom-poms as needed. This is typically how I like to do my DIYs, is I always like to sort of do a dry fit, is what I like to call it, is basically laying out my pieces without actually attaching it, just to get a visual before I actually start putting the pieces together, just to see exactly what looks visually appealing to me and exactly the type of layout that I'm looking for. So here I'm just sort of arranging all my pieces, seeing what I wanted my end pieces to be, whether it be the pom-pom or the mugs, and then just, adjusting accordingly. So in order for me to attach each of those mugs to the yarn, this set of wood pieces did come with some jute twine in the pack. So I just used those strings that came with it. They were already pre-cut, so it's perfect. I just strung them into the holes, the existing holes, and knotted it, and then knotted it onto the red yarn. And then that's how I hung each of these cups to the garland. And this was super easy to do. The only thing that's a little bit challenging with making garlands like this is that when you do hang it, the pieces tend to want to, twist, and sometimes they're not always facing forward. So you have like the design facing every which way. So the way that I fixed that problem was by adding some hot glue to the back of the hole, and then sort of pressing it into the yarn, and then kind of keeping it steady so that it holds, more in a front facing position. But if it doesn't bother you that your pieces sort of flail around and you don't have the design part of it facing out, then, you don't have to worry about doing that. But I like my design pieces to be facing forward. So I find that by adding hot glue to the back and then just sort of pushing it into the yarn or the string that you're using, it just sort of helps to keep your design facing forward. So that's just a little tip. So here I'm just sort of finishing off the edges. What I like to do with any garlands I make is sort of make a knot, and then that way I can use that knot to hang. So you'll see in the end final result how I hung that garland. Moving right along to the next DIY, I'm showing you that a before picture of a galvanized star that I used for this project, as well as a spray paint in the color warm caramel and some cinnamon. Again, we are doing the same thing we did with the first DIY, which is to create a faux rust look. I did the same process, but again, I did not record it. All I did was spray paint the star and then sprinkle the cinnamon over the spray paint, and keep layering on until I got the effect that I like. Just make sure that you do a top clear coat at the end, just to make sure that all your, paint and your cinnamon powder is, crusted onto your project, and that you don't have anything, coming off. It just sort of protects the finish, and then prevents any fallout. So next thing I did was I cut a strip of this fabric here from Hobby Lobby. I believe it's called homespun. So I did cut a strip, and I like to just tear my strip so it has like the frayed edge, more of an organic feel. And then just knotted that to the existing hole of the star, and that's what's going to create my hanger. I also used these cute little paper flowers that were, I think they were hand folded by someone. I did pick it up at a craft show, and they were selling it for someone was selling it in a pack. Like, it looks like either she had made them or maybe someone had made them, and they were already made and pre-formed and everything, and I just bought the whole pack. I thought they were super cute for any DIYs. So it came in handy for this particular one. This DIY to me has a more primitive look to it, primitive country look. For some reason, I'm really liking that look. I typically don't decorate in this fashion, although once in a while with my Christmas decor, I do have some random pieces that lend more to the primitive look, but it's not something that I predominantly decorate with. So what I did was I chose the smaller stars, those paper stars, and just hot glued those down. And then I also took these mini pine cones and just took 3 and then hot glued those down to the center, and just used those paper stars and scattered them sort of outside around the pine cones. And that just added a nice vintage look. You can't tell in this clip here, but those paper stars are actually in a music sheet design. So the paper is like a music sheet. So again, it looks very vintagey, and it just looks cute, ties in well with the star and everything, and the colors and everything just goes so good together. So I went ahead and created my hanger for this, just double knotting it, and then, trimming off the edges. I did also add that piece of frosted greenery to the left side. I just added some hot glue to that. That's also from a leftover DIY from pieces that I've kept from the past, and that's like a Christmas pick, and I just found that and decided to use that to embellish this piece, and I think it just adds that nice pop of green. And then to finish off this look, I wanted to use more of this berry garland, or pit berry as some people call it. This is from Dollar Tree, and again, that just adds more of that country look, primitive look, and I really love it. And what I did was just, twine that or wrap that around this star a couple times here and there, tucking it in different areas, just sort of positioning it to, where it looked nice to me. And then I took a pen to just use that to curl the inner part, and it gives it that sort of curly Q look, and just gives it that nice, finished look. And then make sure that you add some hot glue here and there. Again, that's just going to secure your berry garland into place, so to prevent it from moving. And I love how this DIY came out. So cute, so easy, and I love that faux rust look. I think I'm going to be doing that with a lot of DIYs. It was so easy to achieve that look, and I don't know why I never tried this before, but you should definitely give it a go if you haven't done this. And that does it for this third DIY. I hope you guys like this one. And now we're on to the fourth and final DIY of this video. I took one of these cute little Dollar Tree signs. It's cute as it is, but I wanted to give it a makeover and make it more Christmas. The first thing I want to do is to remove all that paper. I did try to use some heat as well as a putty knife. It wasn't budging. I didn't have the patience to sit there and keep trying to peel it off. So I just took it to my rotary sander and then just used that to sand off all the pieces. And here it is after all the paper was removed. I then took some chestnut brown in the Apple Barrel brand and just gave this a good couple coats. And I am essentially creating more of a gingerbread themed looking DIY here, which is why I chose this color. I think this is perfect color for creating like gingerbread type of DIYs because, you know, it does look very similar to a gingerbread in my opinion. So after painting it and then completely drying that frame, I took some puffy paint. And you can get puffy paint from Walmart in this size right here. I think Dollar Tree might carry some once in a while, but I've never been able to find any in this white color. I did decide on these swirly designs, just sort of creating what I thought looked like a gingerbread cookie. And then you can just embellish yours however you want to. I made some little windows and doors. I'm not too good with, you know, drawing and things like that. So I was just trying to visualize how like a gingerbread cookie or something might look. So I just freehanded that and then went on to move on to my next step. And that is to take this cute little gingerbread man ornament that came from Dollar Tree. That came in a 2-pack. The other piece is a candy cane, which you will see shortly, that I'll also use. I took one of those little candy pieces, again from Hobby Lobby, like I did from the last DIY, and just hot glued that down into place. And I thought that looked cute behind the little gingerbread, and then hot glued the gingerbread on top of that. So as you can see here, I felt like that gingerbread needed a little support in the back because it was uneven. I didn't want to risk that thing, you know, coming off. So I did add a piece of floral foam, just hot gluing it into place, and that just gave it a little more stability. That way you don't have to be too concerned with it like getting accidentally peeled and then falling off. I also took one of these little snowflakes, also from Dollar Tree, and hot glued that. I was just basically trying to layer my pieces, creating a little image or scenery. The other ornament was this candy cane that came in that pack with the gingerbread. I decided to add a mini clothespin to this candy cane and decided that I was going to use this little sign as a picture frame. Or you can even add a little note or message or something to this. You don't have to actually use this as a picture frame, but I wanted that option to be there. So I did add that little clothespin as a means of holding up like a photo or a note or something. So I did hot glue that clothespin down into place, and as you can see, I used one of those chalkboard tag signs. It came in a pack also from Dollar Tree, and just cut it down to the right size. Taking a ribbon in that cute design right there, I just cut it off and knotted it down the middle and dovetailed my edges, and that completed that step. Here I'm just adding a little more puffy paint to the chimney, which I forgot to decorate, and it couldn't get any easier than this. I thought this was a super cute idea for those little house decor signs from Dollar Tree. That wraps up all of the DIYs. Let's take a final look at all of these projects. I enjoyed making these DIYs. They were so fun and came out super cute and adorable. I love them so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and share my videos with anyone whom you think might enjoy this type of video. And again, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you join my YouTube family. And thanks to all my subscribers for continuing to watch my videos and support my channel. It really does mean the world to me.